Good morning, Kabroda crew. Welcome in. Hopefully y'all are doing well today. We're back in it for another live stream today, checking out the markets and seeing what's happening. Yeah, just a little bit of a rundown yesterday after kind of made a top here. That was kind of coming into yesterday morning, and then, as we kind of played out through the day, we just ended up running down to our lower breakdown level. If we were still looking at that trade, it hadn't taken you out. You hadn't really ever gotten in though either. So, it's just kind of sitting in the middle. Kind of looking at the different, looking back at the coding a little bit. It was a little bit of a longer time frame trade. It wasn't much of a short time frame trade, so it ended up kind of. Basically, it took the shorter time frame and expanded it, so it was more of a long time frame trade. It doesn't mean it's going to play out or anything. It just means that's what the system was looking at yesterday. So in terms of how great was the trade, it wasn't anything special. It didn't have any kind of. Didn't happen. Like TradingView just froze. Uh-oh. Computer just froze. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm still live or not. Oh, there we go. It's back. Alright, well, it's back on everything but TradingView, I guess. Or at least I can still film, but I can't use the computer. There we go. Guess TradingView just shut down. Just ran into an issue there. Alright, well, I guess we'll check out the website here. So we're on a stand down today. So we got stand down on BTC, we got stand down on Ethereum, and we got stand down on Solana. So nothing too special there. Let's see if we can get TradingView back open again. There we go. So we'll just go ahead and throw the levels on there and see what we're looking at today. It's not going to be anything special, but we can kind of check it out. So we got our BTC chart back up and running. For whatever reason, it's just shut itself down. Didn't like me deleting that line, I guess. Yeah, that was kind of weird. Haven't had that happen before. Yeah, like I was saying, that we're just running sideways, so we'll see what the new lines look like today. Turn on our Thursday levels, maybe. Alright, well maybe it's not going to work with us today. I don't know what's going on with this today. There we go, we'll turn that on. Alright, so pretty much the same breakdown level as yesterday. We got a little bit higher of a breakout level. In terms of daily support and resistance, they're all looking pretty close to the same. You got daily support down here in the blue dashed line. You got your breakdown line here in purple. This little dash line here in the middle, this dashed box, I guess you'd say, is our 30-minute range for the morning. And then we got our breakout line, and right on top of that, or that dashed line, is going to be the daily resistance there. So daily support, breakdown, breakout, and daily resistance. We broke below our 15,200 yesterday, kind of coming into the night around, well, I guess it was more, broke through it later last night and then kind of came back up, tried to break through it again, this morning, or really early in this morning, almost technically still last night, I guess, depending on how you're looking at it, or where you're probably at, I guess, too. But we tried to break back up and then ended up breaking back through to the downside. And now we're sitting down here around that breakdown level. Pretty close to it today. In terms of how's the trade going to look today, it's definitely looking like more of a downside trade. However, like I said, there's nothing really for us in our system today. It's just not set up in a way that the system is going to call it out. So, you know, something like that, I guess, would be kind of the idea for today. Obviously, like I said, it's not on the system, so it's just kind of throwing that out there. We did get a breakdown below our breakdown range already, but you know, we still are in that 830 candle, so it's just something you want to be careful of that, because you know, we haven't really hit that. We haven't hit the point where it's a good time to, you know, look at taking a trade or anything yet. So yeah, just kind of watching it there, seeing what happened. If we go look at the other trades for yesterday, nothing really happened. We got a little bit of spikes above, here, but no closes above. I guess on Solana you did get a close above here. Kind of interesting, actually. Solana held pretty well throughout yesterday. More or less just ran sideways. So that is interesting, actually, for price action. But we are not really. We closed above, but we didn't really like ever move off. There's this resistance right here in this orange box. That's what these are. It's actually one of our indicators. But this orange box here, along with the blue and then the green down here, and I think there's a purple one somewhere. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere on here. Might not be purple. I don't remember. There's another one though. Anyways, we came up. We kind of hit that resistance there, and then ended up falling back. If you went and checked the gravity map for Sol, I'm sure that's a level that we'd be looking at. It's at 90,000. Or so, wow, $90, not 90,000, $90 there. So, you know, it's running sideways, so that's pretty good for Solana. But you know, with the rest of the market, it's not looking too hot. You know, with the fact that Bitcoin kind of looks like it's starting to do a little bit of a rollover, you're seeing Ethereum looking pretty close to the same, kind of. In some sort of downwards pattern, I guess, is really what it looks like. So more or less, you know, both of them are kind of have more of a downside look to them. We'll go ahead and throw our levels on here and see what Solana looks like. So we'll head back here, grab them from the website, and we'll throw them into our Predator Command Center here. There we go. So these are today's levels. You can see breakouts a little bit higher. Technically closed above in the same area. You know, that would have been like 2 or 3 in the morning. So I guess you probably wouldn't have been watching, much less really taking that, just to take the trade to the upside. So I guess it's not really plausible, but looking at it today, we're kind of in middle range for Solana. You got your breakout zone here. Your daily resistance is right there where we kind of ran into yesterday, that resistance I was talking about. Oh, there's the other box that I was talking about. It's actually red. It's right behind our 30-minute range here. And then we got our blue one here. Down here in the blue dash line, that's going to be your daily support. And then obviously purple is your breakdown line. So kind of in the middle of the range, nothing too exciting really happening. You know, we've kind of talked about it in the past, but typically when you see the 30-minute range kind of form, you'll see that kind of form around closer to the level that it's going to break out of. So it's closer to the breakout level today. So technically that would mean an up run, but you know, looking at Bitcoin, it's the opposite. So, and I'm sure if we looked at Solana or Ethereum, which we're going to look at next, it'll probably be pretty close to the same. So definitely looking more bearish than bullish there. So yeah, not looking too great on that aspect. So you know, Solana's just kind of looking like it's going to run sideways more or less. Definitely not a trade in there again. System's telling you to stand down, so there's really nothing there for any of it. Moving on to Ethereum here, we're going to grab our data here, and we'll throw that in the charts here. Just like that. And here you go. So same thing as Bitcoin. Like I said, you're looking at a breakdown. We're closer to the breakdown line with the 30-minute range sitting right above it. We're pretty close to breaking our daily support already. And then after we kind of clear these zones, there's not a whole lot below it. So definitely ready for continuation. These lines here, I believe, are a moving average of sorts. I believe. Yeah, those are moving averages, I think. So, you know, those are there that we could run into. Just kind of potential areas, I guess, that we could come down to. But definitely looking like we're falling out. Lost the 1 hour 200 just recently. It's kind of sitting right above this blue range here. And that 830 candle is just looking ugly. So yeah, we'll see. Like I said, what happens. It's definitely got to be more of a sideways or probably short day. If it does pick a direction, I'm guessing it's going to pick more of a short. We don't really have an edge that we can kind of trade on it, so there's nothing to jump into. It's just more of a sit back and relax day. You know, we've had a lot of those recently, but the market's been kind of sideways-ish. We had a little bit of a run up, I guess, but now it wasn't a very good run up, and we're kind of running sideways, like I said. So a lot of, you know, boring price action, I guess, and just not clear, high probability trades. So in terms of, are we looking to take anything? It's pretty low on the list. We got another minute or so before, almost 2 minutes, I guess, before that 830 to 845 candle closes, and then we're going to see where price is at, see how the predator levels kind of set up. It's interesting. All of these are kind of on that same resistance level, you know, with that. I think blue is, I want to say blue is the 1 hour. One of them's the 1 hour, one of them's the 4 hour. So, and I believe blue and green are both the technically the support levels for the longer time frames. I say that with air quotes because, you know, technically whenever you have price action below the level, it's technically becomes resistance, and if you have it above the level, then it's going to be support. So if price action is actually below those, then now we're just going to call those resistance technically, but just for sake of being able to understand where they're at and what we're talking about, we'll just keep saying support even if we break down below it. So right now, yeah, we're kind of at that support level though for all three, right at that blue line. You can see Bitcoin's is right under it. You got Solana's pretty much right under it too, and then Ethereum's actually pretty close to breaking through it. So we'll see how those 830 candle closes again. Yeah, it's not looking too great for any of the charts really. Kind of got a range forming here, something like that. Looking to break down to the downside. Massive drop here right before the end. Came down, tested that the bottom of the level. Looks like we're just going to break through it and continue down, would be my guess. Maybe we'll do a little bounces, a couple more bounces before we do that, but definitely looking not too great. You know, we're kind of have a little bit of a micro trend of a micro downtrend here, with price action starting to show some downtrend within our kind of zone here. I got my fib levels on there. Typically when you see, we talked about this before, but typically when you see your 0.5 level, your halfway level, it's technically not a fib actually, but your halfway point, pretty much between your top and your bottom of any kind of range. You're going to see when price action is below that, the majority of the time you'll probably break down, especially after you start seeing lower highs and lower lows. So you got a lower low here, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then now we're going to go for a lower low, it looks like. So just continue down. And you know, you might not see that exactly. You might be like lower high, lower low, or sorry, lower low, lower high, and then lower low, lower high, and then it might just come down and kind of bounce on that same level and just kind of make a flat thing. It's actually kind of the basics of a pattern if you want to think about it that way. So like, say you're saying it's breaking down here, you got your range set up and you keep seeing it come down and test this. Well, that would be a I forget what they call that. I guess just a descending triangle, maybe. I don't remember. Something like that. Basically, you have a flat bottom, and then you keep making lower highs, so you're kind of making a downtrend to there, and then you end up breaking down. That's essentially the pattern, I guess, that's there. So, you know, technically, I guess if you're just drawing that on the chart, and you're like, oh, look at, we're making a wedge or a descending triangle, whatever it's called. So you're breaking down, you're just like, oh, I'm going to enter right there, throw my stop right above the triangle there, which actually lines up pretty close with our system today. You know, you don't always see that with patterns. They're a little harder to, you know, just they're a little harder to trade. They're just not as they're not mathematical. It's just a lot of opinion based, you know, charting and stuff like that. So patterns are definitely a lot harder to trade. You kind of have to have more of a natural eye for it if you want to trade stuff like that. But you know, fib levels and stuff like that, that's all based off of math and stuff like that. So you can definitely, if you can see the high and the low on the trends, and you can even use R lines, like say you're using our levels here. You could just use those and say, oh, okay, well, you know, here's the high, here's the low, and we've been trending downwards here. We got a spike up, actually kind of faked up, tried to break out of the top, rejected off of it, and then that's when we came down and got the break out of our range. We even kind of came back up, made a lower high and tested it, and that would be kind of where you'd, if you were just looking at it like that, you could take it right there. Obviously, you know, that's just kind of a very basic system. If you're going to get into it, I would have kind of marked maybe this low here just because we come down and tested it, and then also that 830 candle you got to watch out for, because it could have a big spike in volatility, just because that's when you know, people turn on their computers. That's when people that's when the New York I think it's futures opens. So you'll see like bots come in and buy or sell or whatever. Stuff just kind of floods into the market. A lot of volatility comes in for that candle. So you're kind of better off most of the time kind of staying out of the way. Like you can see, even just looking at price action, we kind of had a little up run, and then it kind of just ran sideways, a little bit more of an up run, and then we kind of did a decent down candle and then ran sideways, and then that 830 opened and we kind of just blew up downwards and took out like 4 or 5 other candles. Did like a little bearish engulfing on pretty far backwards. So, you know, it's just something to be mindful of as you're kind of moving into it. That's why we kind of watch out for that 830 candle. It's hard to predict, and it's not really like, oh, you know, it's going to change direction or anything. It's just more of, if you're running a stop that's pretty tight, which you probably are if you're trading a lower time frame like the 15, then you need to watch out for volatility spikes like that are unpredictable, because it could have spiked up and hit you out and then come all the way back down and close down here, and you'd be out of the trade at that point. So yeah, like I said, this is probably what I'd be looking at today if I was looking to take anything. But again, you know, system's not on there, so it's just kind of more or less of a fun trade, lower probability obviously, because the system would tell you if it was a higher probability trade. So overall it's just more of a lower probability, not anything too crazy. Yeah, we'll see how this plays out, I guess. But yeah, I guess we'll say good morning to everybody in the chat. So welcome in, Kathleen. Good morning to you. Good morning, Terry. Good morning, Spiritmaker. Looks like Terry said, looks like the 79,400 could be target on gravity map. Yeah, let's check that. So we got our gravity map open here. We're on BTC 79,400,000. Yeah. So that's that. That's well, it's a little bit lower than that, but it's basically, yeah, that level right there. Definitely could be a target. That's actually pretty close to the target 2 we are looking at. If we break that, honestly, we have a pretty good gap until we go a little farther. That gravity well is actually pretty. Yeah, that was pretty decent looking there. Definitely look. You can see there's nothing here, so basically what that means is that we're more than likely just going to continue dropping down to this 79,400 level, like Terry said. So definitely a good place to target if you're looking at taking a target. You got that drop down. That'd actually be pretty close to our target too. If you wanted to take it closer to the level, you could probably move it up like that. So you're making about a 1.45 if you just took it. I guess if you took it right there, you're making 1.27. So nothing too crazy, but definitely looking like a down trade here. Yeah, a little down trade, run it down. You know, make some money. Not anything crazy. It's not a super high probability either, I guess. I mean, it's kind of shown that it's going to go down. So I would say it's higher probability. In terms of like our system, you know, it's pretty low probability just because you know, the stuff that we look for that would tell you the trade's high probability just isn't checkmarked today. So yeah, more or less, it's just kind of a trade to take. So we'll just yeah, we're just kind of paper trading it, just watching it, see what happens here. But it's not anything crazy. Just looking for a little down move here. You know, it could happen the next 5 minutes, could happen next hour or so. You're just kind of hanging out until it does. Would probably keep my stop out a little farther. You know, sometimes we'd mess with it and throw our stops in a little bit. Technically, we shouldn't really see it kind of come back up in this level. That 80,700 level is actually pretty strong. So like, actually pretty close if you look at this wick right here. Like right where it wicks down to, so pretty much top of that blue line, blue box, I guess I should say. It's a pretty strong level, and then after that, the next level is kind of that breakout zone. So you kind of have two levels, I guess, if you're just looking at those as just kind of the range there. that's what you'd be looking at, something like that. So definitely broke below it, so we have full, like, we have no reason not to just drop down. So it's definitely, like I said, it's definitely a higher probability at this point. We're kind of at the point where the trade's showing, you know, that it's going to continue down. But yeah, it's just you just gotta kind of watch and see what happens. But yeah, just kind of hang out and see what happens here. See where we end up going. See what ends up happening here. Yeah, see if we can actually end up getting it to go down to the level that we're kind of looking at. I don't know, what do you guys think? You guys like this trade? You guys think this is probably not going to happen? Or you guys already in this trade? I don't know, you have to let me know. Oops, didn't mean to do that. There we go. There we go. Just watching our trade try to play out. Like I said, it's pretty low, low on the list, you know, in terms of our system. But you know, it's breaking down. You got the pattern kind of forming. You did technically break our breakdown levels, so you should see a continuation there. You've broken the kind of resistance liquidity levels, whatever you want to call them, right here at around that 89 or 80,600 level. If you broke back above that, that'd probably be where you'd want to jump out of your trade if you're looking at it. Like, I guess if you're really like trying to just, you know, trade this down, you want to be like more aggressive. You could trade something like that. Just because, you know, if you break this level, that's kind of the time to get out. Maybe throw it up a little bit higher, something like that. Could be a possibility there. You know, it's because that's the resistance level. So if we break that, then more than likely you're just going to continue up. Technically, you should continue up to the breakout level. So you know, even if your stop was somewhere in the middle, it doesn't really matter. Once we break that, we're more than likely going to come up for this level here. So yeah, I mean, I guess really all you're getting by running your stop out a little bit is just more or less, you can close it earlier, maybe take a little less of a hit, which is always nice, especially lately. It seems like, you know, a lot of not so great not so great trades really lately. A lot of false moves on a bunch of different days. Had a lot of kind of rips in the wrong direction, stuff like that. And you know, like today, you're looking at it, you're like, oh, it should break down. We broke the level. There's nothing here for it to really find any support on. We should just continue down to that 79 480 whatever level, and you know, we're not. We're just we're hanging out. We're just holding this level. So yeah, I don't know. It's just a hard time to trade, I guess. It's a time when, you know, you could just sit aside and just kind of keep your money and hang out and just kind of watch the markets and be ready for when trading starts to pick up a little bit more, get back into the swing of it. But yeah, we we'll watch this trade tonight. We'll see how it goes. We'll talk about it next Tuesday when we're back on the live stream. But yeah, hopefully y'all have a good weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, enjoy Mother's Day. I guess that's happening this weekend. So yeah, hopefully y'all enjoy that. Happy Mother's Day, I guess. But until Tuesday, we'll catch you all then. Yeah, good luck with your trade if you jumped into this thing. Again, like I said, we're not here for financial advice, just for fun. So, or just for educational purposes, really. So, if you guys hopefully you guys learned something, I guess, from that. But yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday. We do have a video coming out here at 10. We're kind of talking about the gravity levels and what it means to kind of like lose the floor and stuff like that. So check that out if you guys are interested in learning a little bit of TA. We actually used yesterday's price action for a lot of it, so you can easily go back and reference it. But you know, it's also a video you could go watch again and hopefully still get something out of. So yeah, again, yeah, thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all next week. Happy trading, y'all. Have a good weekend.